Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of how I edited my image. So, this image, which I named it The Dawn of the Spire, is really one of my personal favorites. It was taken in the southern region of Saudi Arabia in a place called the Valley of Al-Disah or Wadi Al-Disah. Amazing place. It's just so rich with these rocky formations that you think they're mountains, but they are actually rock formations. Incredible amount of compositions that you can come up with in this place, and we've spent around 7 days exploring the region. And honestly, I think like 10 to 12 days would have been really great to spend there to get the most out of it. So let's jump quickly on the before image. So I'm here in Lightroom. So this basically was the start image. I took it during the blue hour, and I was really hoping that we can come to this place to shoot the sunrise, which was coming behind there. Unfortunately, that was not available due to the time constraint and having other schedule of other places. We were around 8 people in photography workshop group, so the priority was to get to as many locations as possible. So a simple 5 bracket images, +1 +2 -1 -2, and combine them in this HDR. Very normal settings, slightly in the temperature. I get the shadows and the blacks almost maxed out. If you have not seen a video I did of what I usually do in Camera Raw in the Lightroom. So really nothing big. I just added a little bit of the saturation here in the blue. That's it. I don't really do many things in Lightroom. Then we managed to completely shift the mood, add light, control that light, and light up our scene. So this was the startup image, and the way I have edited this image is my old way of post-processing, and I've kind of shifted from using this method to a different method of using multiple camera raw filter effects to apply the effect I wanted. However, I realized that when I visualized the image in my head when I took the shot, that it would only work for me as my skills with the way I'm going to explain it. I just found it a bit hard for me to think of a way of doing it in the new way I've been doing things. And the reason why I shifted was from this method is it's time consuming. It requires very precise brushing, very precise masking. It requires patience. It requires really, I think patience is the word. I would say it's the right word to describe what you need. So kind of shifted the bottom part with the perspective warp tool, then cleaned up the image there and there. And unfortunately for us, like the whole 7 days except the first day, we had completely zero clouds, not a single cloud. Like we had really the worst conditions to photograph. There was just no clouds, no atmosphere, no colors in the sky, and I had to make up the scene to work for me, because for me adding a sky is really something that is not damaging the image. It's something that could have been there, it can be there in one of the days. I don't usually pick very explosively nice sunset or sunrise conditions. I go in the moderate ones. So I decided to go with this kind of sky because it felt to me that it would have worked the best. A little bit of reducing the exposure and adding some contrast, and to accentuate the light and to add some colors in the sky as well. And so I'm going to show you the idea of what I was doing in this image. So it's basically me. Let me just create a layer here. Okay. It's me basically trying to have some sort of light that is coming from the back. It's bleeding a little bit here, and it's lighting the surfaces of these the surface of these I don't know what they are, probably like just for me it seemed like carbonated formations, the or like accumulation of muds. I'm not really sure. Okay, and to just get the light in there, okay, and there as well, and it will just gradually start dimming as we go here. So it might just bleed a little bit in here. This part would be bright, this part would be bright, and it just start to dim as we go. This part will be bright because the light would hit it that way, and just start dimming as it goes up. It goes that way. And on the other hand, I'm going to have a high like places with shadows where the light is not hitting, and definitely this is a very important part of it, and so that's going to create that separation and really have that beautiful light to dark transition contrast. It's also not going to hit in the places down here and places in here, these places, because these formations are blocking the light from coming there. And here as well, this place, okay, so just here and here, and it just a bit we're darkening adding some vignette. We're darkening things in here a little bit, darkening here a bit more, etc. Okay, so that was my initial idea of how I was going to edit the image. So let me create another layer, which I'm going to fill with 50% gray. I'm going to come back to this layer again, just to show you what I did later on, how it looks on a gray background. And I'll just show you, I will just open all these layers and I'm going to explain to you why I was doing every single layer, and then I will just show you an example of how you can do that by yourself. So this was the first layer. As you can see, we kind of just darkened the upper part of the sky. We now starting to add that light into our image. As we have said, this was like our reference plan. We're adding, and the thing is with this way of editing by using only a brush tool. See, I'm just using a brush tool, and when I want to brighten things up, I use overlay with, you know, a certain color, certain lights of, for example, I would normally just choose my brush tool and choose a color like that. Then I will just reduce the saturation a little bit and just add more brightness into it, and I'll just start painting there and there. Okay, so that was it. Here I started adding, so when I want to darken things, I add I put the blend mode into soft light. I just, from my experience, it works better this way. For the burning part, you would want to have soft light blending mode on, and for the dodging part, overlay works a little bit better. For this, just to add more black into my image, as you can see, this blend mode is just a normal one. And the thing is, when I was working these brushes, then I would normally have also a mask there that I'm going to refine my brushing, because sometimes there's some spill there and there, and it is better than just erasing that part, because brushing then masking it out is a better way to fine-tune your effect in the image. And here, as you can see, I've started to add these lights here. Okay, maybe okay. And here, as you can see, I'm adding these. I'm burning as well these parts. Maybe I missed it there. Yeah. I'm lightening it again. I'm burning here, burning more, dodging, burning, dodging again, burning, dodging, and dodging again, burning, dodging. And here what I did, that I have added just a normal Orton effect. I will be showing you how I did that. So let me just stop for a moment here, and I will just show you what all these looks like on a gray layer. As you can see, this was just the things I did. And if I want to just to group these together, just to show you that the most of the work I have done was really, like, as you can see, this is 37 layers just from me doing these things only. So this was after, this was before, and this is after. This is the way I have tried to create a light and make it real. A very flat image, does not have directional light, does not feel like very 3D-ish, but now you're completely shifting the way the image looks. And by this point, you would have had like 70% of your work done already. It's just a matter of fine-tuning and adding some contrast, little bit of exposure, changing the lights there and the colors there and there, just to fine-tune it. But most of the work would have been done here, which I spent really most of my time. So let me just show you an example of how do you do that. Okay, so for example, I have now opened a normal layer. I would take Usually a quick selection tool. So let me just show you how to do the separation, for example, for this mountain. It would take a bit in here. Okay, let me choose the whole mountain, then I can just separate it later on. Let me discard that part. So I'm pressing Alt and just refining my selection. So now I will need to subtract my selection. Okay, and I think by here, I think it is maybe just a little bit here. There. Okay. So we need to pick this part as well. Okay. So I will change the blend mode to overlay, and I will choose my color to be almost the same color which I have chosen earlier. So bit of color to it and maximum brightness. I did all of my brushes there with a tablet, which with the pressure sensitivity, it just makes the control much easier. But now I'm using a mouse just for demonstration purposes. So you'll just start to add some brush stroke there and there. Okay, maybe we want to expand our selection a little bit here. Okay. So this is what you would end up with. And to make the transition from the here to there smoother, we will add a brush, layer mask. We will take the black, we will go with a little bit higher opacity, and we will just, try to have a blend of that together, so it does not look the transition between the dark and light is not very big. And maybe we can just reduce the capacity a little bit more and just have one single stroke here. So this was before and this is after, and this is before the layer mask with the layer mask. And you will just have to work, I will just do another layer. I'll put the blend mode into soft light, and whatever we have chosen there, we will choose the opposite of it now on this part. So let me just deselect this and deselect this part. Oops. So now I'm going to use a black brush, around the same 9-10%. Add those. Again, I'm gonna go and add the layer mask. Increase my opacity a bit. Just have that. And voila. Maybe just a little bit to reduce the opacity in here. Yep. So if I blend those together, this is before, this is after, before, after. So 2 layers, it made complete shift. Then I might just add 1 extra layer, 2, 3. I might change the colors a little bit just to make things work. It's because if you ask me to go and recreate this image again from scratch, I would probably do it differently. So it really depends on how the color selection of how you visualize your image, but this is the method of how you can achieve the look intended. Okay, so let me just delete. I'll just delete this. Delete that. I don't know how to okay, I'll just put that as a group for now. Okay, so let me now just show you how I do my Orton effect. Very simple way. Go to blur, Gaussian blur, 355. I usually have it on the high side. Image adjustments, brightness, add a little bit of brightness, a bit of contrast, and it depends on what color you want to have. For me, so I'm looking for something orangish, so I will go to add a little bit of red and add some yellows in. Okay, I will hide that under a black mask, take my white brush. I'll just slightly have that light spread going there in my image. If I feel it's too much, I can always just reduce the opacity just to have it there. And that's how you would do your Orton effect, how I do it. Okay, so this was the one I did. Then I just added a normal brush stroke just to kind of have some sort of flow of the light going from here to there. And then to get this look, I used my Luminar 4 plugin, where I just reduced the exposure, played a little bit around with the contrast, added some split toning, and that was it. Really, I did not do anything too crazy. So you need to play around with the settings. You can have something similar in Camera Raw, but it just needs some more fine-tuning. So for now, it's just about really fine-tuning the image. Okay. I added a little bit more light in here. I then adjusted my colors with a selective color adjustment brush. Okay, let me just, okay. I used a color rise from Color Effects Pro, and it is a very nice plugin to add, where maybe I can just show you what it does. So what Colorize does for me, let me just take this off. It kind of adds the color that you choose and add it evenly in the image. I use it in many times in my image, and for me, I just feel that it has worked really good with this image. As you see, it added that dark blue tone in the image. So that was it. Little bit of vignetting there. Again, some vignetting there. Okay, and maybe here I just kind of, if you can see, I played around with a certain color. As you can see, I just reduced that orange a bit. And then I added my the output sharpener from Nick Collection. And to me, that was going to be the end of my post-processing. However, I like to always not post it directly. Just have... I like to spend sometimes looking at the image over and over again, find mistakes, find things I can improve on, maybe ask some of my friends to get their feedback. So one of the things I was told that there was just too much orange hitting in here. The light was a bit too much, so I had to reduce that. I just reduced the orange a little bit in here. Added more darkness in there. Reduced a little bit of the saturation again, and just fine-tuning some of the darker parts there and there. And for me, it felt that this was a bit distracting, I felt, so I had to work my way out. And the remove tool really did an amazing job with it. So I kind of just filled that gap and a little bit shifted the image a bit, just to have that lined up and have it like, you know, a leading line to the image, to my subject. Vignetting, little bit more vignetting, and that was it. That is how I have edited this particular image. I know I went a bit too fast, but I just wanted to give you the idea and the keys of what tools you can use to get this image. So it's just really about fine-tuning a little bit there and there. Most of the work has been done with the brushes, which I showed you with dodging and burning. Then, you know, it was just matter of really adding a little bit light there, make this part a little bit darker, maybe, you know, fine-tune the colors. If it's just too much, you need to reduce it, and that's it. Thank you for watching, and please feel free to ask me any questions in the comments or through my Instagram profile. Thank you again. Bye.